Hello friends, James Stevenson back with another episode of Breakfast with Loki, the most important thing. And while he is eating or not eating, I'll also talk about whether it's a bad thing for Tesla to produce more vehicles than they deliver. I don't know if that's going to be a relevant topic tomorrow when Tesla releases their production and deliveries report or not, but for now, let's feed Loki his breakfast. Okay, here you go, buddy. There's your breakfast. Enjoy. And we'll see if he comes over to eat his breakfast or not. Whether he does or doesn't, you'll be able to keep an eye on him in the Loki cam right here underneath me. While I show you this thread begun by Gary Black, tweeting, I hope that with first quarter deliveries of 424,000, my estimate, Gary's estimate, we don't see production of 450,000 plus. I agree, that would be too much. I'm forecasting about 440,000 and deliveries of 419.3. A deliveries forecast sure to be proven wrong right away when Tesla reports on the 2nd at noon. Therefore, more discounts to clear inventory. Why such build in inventory? Tesla can't keep saying the extra production is in transit. At some point, it has to get delivered. Well, that seems to make a lot of sense, what Gary just said. What did Steven Spencer say? At @Spencer_SMB replied, Hey James, care to explain or point Gary in the right direction, tagging me with a smiley face. So, yeah, I had to come in here and give my perspective, which is the wave must end eventually. Bill Hader's wave as Stefan in SNL will never end in this GIF, because it's a looping 1 second GIF. But Tesla has to end the wave, and they're ending it now. Tesla IR told everyone, I told everyone, Elon Musk told everyone. I made 3 or 4 videos explaining what ending the wave means. Maybe I'll leave those links in the video description or something. Not everyone believes it, but Tesla's production is likely to exceed deliveries in most future quarters. This is how it should be, and it's how I'm forecasting it every quarter for at least the next 10 quarters, that Tesla's going to produce a little more than they deliver. Not vastly more, just a little more as Tesla continues to build out factories and, delivery centers and has more places to park more Teslas. That's what they ought to be doing, and it's what they've said they plan to do. Gary replies, to smooth out end-of-quarter delivery waves, it takes a quarter or 2, not 10. If a company consistently produces more than it sells, days inventory outstanding soars, and at some point it cuts price to correct the imbalance. Let's hope we're past all that. So I had to reply, Tesla could literally produce more than they deliver every single quarter for the next 10 quarters while reducing days of sales and ending inventory. It doesn't have to go up, like Gary just said, so long as deliveries grow by a larger percentage than ending inventory grows by. So these other Wall Street analysts are used to dealing with legacy automakers that have been around for 100 years. And if their production kept exceeding their deliveries, they would have a problem because they're not gaining more dealerships to buy more cars from them, right? There's not increased interest in buying more vehicles than they can produce. So if they keep producing more than they sell, eventually they're going to have to do something to sell through that growing inventory, or they're going to run out of places to park those cars. Gary says, that's a true statement, James, but that's not what happened the past 2 quarters. Let's hope the price cuts worked and we're past all that. So I explained, no, what happened the last 2 quarters is that Tesla achieved their objective of smoothing out deliveries more evenly across the quarter, rather than delivering half the vehicles they deliver in the quarter over just the last several weeks of the quarter. This improved cost per delivery with lower expedite fees. You don't have to rush stuff to get it delivered by the end of the quarter and pay to expedite the delivery. This improved labor efficiency, lower overtime costs in the last month of the quarter when you're not having to work overtime because there's not so much of a crazy amount of deliveries that need to happen in the especially last half of the last month. This improved the delivery experience, less stress throughout the quarter for delivery centers. All deliveries could be performed by delivery specialists who were not as rushed. So I took delivery of my Tesla in mid-December of 2018, and the push was already so strong in my area that someone who worked in Tesla Solar drove my car out to me and delivered it. I had requested that they deliver my Tesla to me, and I didn't get a Tesla automotive delivery specialist. I got somebody who sold solar to deliver my Tesla to me, and they had a phone number of someone they could call and ask questions if I had questions they didn't know the answer to. So you don't have to do crazy stuff like that, and have salaried people who work at your headquarters building help to deliver cars, stuff like that. You get a better customer service experience when you have the people who are trained delivery specialists doing the delivery, right? And yes, this also increased days of sales and ending inventory, but this was by design, as the number had previously been too low and was unsustainable. What do we know about unsustainable things? Elon stops doing them. That's what that's what we know about unsustainable processes. The more vehicles Tesla produces per week, the more impossible it becomes to deliver all but the most recent week's production by the end of the fiscal quarter. So hopefully that all makes sense. Somebody asked me, what's my delivery estimate for Q1? I just said 419.3. So Gary and I are only 1% apart. Almost all of the delivery estimates are right in that range. Like, I'm towards the lower end of the range. I would say everybody is within 3% of 430,000. So that's a pretty tight clustering of delivery expectations. Somebody asked, since you're investing for others, you should be paying more attention, directed to Gary, not me. And Gary says, hey, we're Tesla bulls. Tesla's our second largest position. Maybe you're not paying attention. Gary replied to me, saying, I agree with most of your points. My argument is that if A, production consistently exceeds deliveries, and B, days of inventory surges to 25 to 30 days, investors will worry that Tesla will have to cut prices again, as the market figured out in the fourth quarter. Tesla down 54%, the NASDAQ was flat. Well, I'm going to disregard this last point here and just read you what I responded with, which was, I expect A to happen. Here's A in Gary's tweet. Tesla will continue delivering less vehicles than they produce in most quarters. See lines 154 and 157 on slide 43 of my February 19th forecast, but I won't be shocked if Tesla occasionally delivers more than they produce. That could happen, right? I'm just forecasting more produced than delivered. That's not a guarantee, and I'm not going to lose my mind if Tesla delivers more than they produce sometimes. But I do not expect B to happen. I'm forecasting days of sales and ending inventory on line 159 to never exceed 20. So what did I retweet here? It's my February 19th forecast, tweet number 43. If I click here, that fits okay for the purposes of this video. Here is 2023, here is Q1, and here are total production and deliveries. So production, 440,083, deliveries, 419,301, and days of sales and ending inventory I have at 17. I'm not guaranteeing 17. I never guarantee anything I forecast. The first rule of forecasting is whatever you forecast, it will be wrong. The second rule of forecasting is be less wrong. So over time, I hope to dial these in closer. But if you look at my future quarters, I'm not forecasting this to go above 20 at any time. Now, could it? Sure, it could go over 20, but I'm not going to freak out if it does, because we don't really know what the right number is yet for Tesla to be able to. Let me see if I can find it, because Gary added on to his thread here, saying I got tons of good feedback on my comments on Tesla production versus deliveries. As James says, all is well, as long as ending inventory grows at a slower rate than deliveries. That has not been true the past 2 quarters, as days of ending inventory rose sharply, as did FG, finished goods inventory, as a percent of deliveries. So he's got a chart here showing days of finished goods inventory climbing. Yeah, that's the point, is that these are unsustainable levels down here in the single digits. Tesla needs to get out of that and go back to, double-digit days of sales in finished goods inventory. And he said, I say it's a good thing since it reflects Tesla finally smoothing its quarter-end delivery wave, which requires it to build inventory. If true, I agree. Where I and others take issue is if days of ending inventory gets into the 25 range, same as finished goods inventory, 33% of first quarter deliveries versus 13 in 2022 fourth quarter. All right. So I replied saying, I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world if every Tesla delivery center had a few of each model available for people asking to test drive a Tesla. It's a shame that so many people who want to test drive a Tesla can't, because the delivery centers don't have any for them to test drive, or they don't have the model they're interested in buying available to test drive. I also don't think it would be the worst thing in the world if those prospective shoppers could purchase a new Tesla model in their choice of color from those delivery centers the same day, because some car buyers are accustomed to being able to buy a car right off the lot and don't want to place an order and wait. How many days worth of vehicle sales would Tesla have in inventory at the end of the quarter in that scenario? Probably more than 20 days of sales. But I'm not going to warn Tesla investors that it would be an ominous portent if Tesla's days sales and ending inventory ever exceeds 20. In fact, it could be an improvement, ceteris paribus. All right, so there's your answer. All things being equal, we want to see Tesla's days of sales and ending inventory go up some, which means Tesla's total inventory needs to go up some, which means we're going to see Tesla produce more vehicles than they deliver most of the time. That's the recap of the video. And here's the Loki's bed cam. There's no Loki in the Loki's bed cam. There he is. There he is. Popped his little head up. So he's going to eat his food later. Don't worry about Loki. He eats. He always eats. He just doesn't always eat right away. And that's the end of the video, so I will outro. This just now happened. I haven't been out of frame the whole video. Thank you for watching my video. If you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, why not go ahead and subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post fresh content. Thank you to everyone who supports me either through my Patreon page or by joining my YouTube channel as my executive producers. Kathy Kitchler and Halter Ferguson Financial did at the highest support tier, and I'll see you in the next one.